this time, I take great pride in introducing you all to a record-breaking rodeo athlete and coach. Three-time regular national finals rodeo barrel racer, Miss SYDNI Blanchard.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the most fearless show in Las Vegas. Are you guys ready to ride? I have a really cool show today, you guys. It is all about how it takes a team to be successful. And to help me with that, I have a very good friend and co-host who happens to be a 10-time INFR world champion, as well as an NFR barrel racer, KASSIDY Dennison.
Hey Sid.
Hey girl, hey.
Hi everybody, thank you guys for joining us. I am so excited to co-host with Sid today, and I hopefully more people come and join. If those guys are back there, come join us, come listen to our journey of how each and every one of us out here has, and the guests that are in the back, they are all champions, so come join us.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that it's going to be very much like how the rig was when KASSIDY and I hauled together on the road to the NFR.
Yes.
Without like all the mishaps. However, don't worry, we'll tell you those stories. But right now I'm also going to introduce you to a very cool friend of mine. His name is Bo the Hustler Brown.
Hello everybody, hello everybody. My name is Bo Brown. I'm also with an anti-bullying association called B3 Against Bullying, where we go around the world and speak to kids about bullying. I'm gonna be bringing the energy to the table tonight. I'm also gonna be looking for the loudest person with the most energy, and when you hear this sound, I'm gonna be giving out some swag.
That's the swag sound, guys, and we got a winner right there. Let's do it, that's her right there. Cass, I don't know about you, but I'm super stoked about this. We're gonna chat a little bit. KASSIDY's been to the NFR and in the barrel racing, but she's won her 10 world championships in the breakaway roping.
Yes, it's the all around. I won. It's a multiple events, so the all around, and that's been a fun journey.
She's giving me the death stare. She's like, by the way, SYDNI, whom you're supposed to be my friend, I won the all around. It's not just breakaway. I won the all around. Let's redo it. Redoing it.
Let's redo that. Take two.
Yeah, take two. Well, we're really excited to share all of our stories with you. We have some really cool people. We have the EMERSON family. We have AMBERLEY SNYDER. We have some rising stars.
Gosh.
AMBERLEY SNYDER.
Can't wait.
But right now, we're going to do a recap of last night's winners.
Yes, I'm so excited. That was...
So did anybody go to the regular national finals last night? No one?
Nobody?
Nobody? That girl.
Oh, she went.
That girl.
Yes.
Who is that? I spy.
I
A celebrity. Well, thanks, guys. That was our super short and fast recap of the NFR round winners last night. But right now, of course, because it is all about how it takes a team to be successful on the road to the NFR, KASSIDY and I are actually bringing up our families as our first guests, so we could chat a little bit about what it took to get this hot mess to the NFR.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and welcome right now Devin Dennison and Candace Blanchard.
And my niece Kennedy. She's going to come also, just because she's an up-and-comer, and she wanted to come and join us.
I think Cass had a couple of the first questions for my mom.
I definitely, it's been so, first of all, hi guys. We wanted to do this because we wanted to do family night, SYDNI and I, and the biggest thing of each and every contestant you see that's out there, everybody talks about how much their family is, and we really never get this chance to really highlight the certain people in our lives that really have done everything
for us.
Everything. I mean, literally, like if we have to don't have the right lip color, who's the one to go?
That's how you make the NFR in the barrel racing. It's the shade of your lipstick. Quote unquote KASSIDY Dennison.
I mean, you gotta get it right. It has to to be down to the dress, everything, right? So I want to first ask Candace. Candace has been a part of our life, me personally, growing up. She's always been there for me and helped me in different ways through college, lending me one of her best horses. And I'm just so grateful for you. And my first question is, as a mom, when did you decide, or how do you decide when you are going to basically spend, I'm not even joking, like the barrel racing world, it takes
$1 billion.
Yes, so much money to make it. And as a mom, as you true as a competitor, what do you decide? Like, I'm going to invest that in Sid, and I'm going to do it multiple times. I'm going to do it. That has to take a strong mom. I wish my mom was here today, but you're here, and you have been like a mother to me, so I wanted to ask you that.
Well, thank you very much, and that's a great question. I didn't decide when. I had a knowing, and SYDNI always rose to the occasion, and she always exceeded my expectations. And so I was in awe of that.
Oh, just a talent. Well, I think our parents.
It seemed natural.
Yes, that's so true, because SYDNI is a hard worker, and I think our parents see that as we are. Hopefully they see us out there.
I'm sorry, me and my mom are having a moment. I like blacked out. I'm like, is Cassidy still here? Because we just had a moment. They're like, oh, thank you, Mom. You believe in me as an adult. So thank you so much. I don't know if you guys know this, but none of us do this alone. Everybody says, you know, I made the NFR, and they make it a really big deal and post your picture up, and you know, the media, social media, everything makes a really big deal about how you individually do something like this. However, it takes a team, and that's why we're having this show specifically today, is to show you how much work goes into being successful, not just on the rodeo road to the NFR, but in life in general. And this is all about being fearless, and my mom taught me how to be fearless. Cassidy's mom taught her how to be fearless. Deb and I grew up together, and we were just fearless on accident. And what about Kennedy?
Kennedy is my niece, and she's up and coming barrel racer. She started barrel racing, just bought her new horse, so we're starting that.
Has anybody bought a new barrel horse and like had to get with it, or just like a new rope horse, anything like a new horse? Anybody ever had to get with a horse? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yes, and so she decided to enter out here, and like a true champion, flew out here from Albuquerque, has to go to school first, and comes out here, and this morning spent the hours, wakes me up, and is like, we need to practice. So we went and spent some time with the horses.
And that's what it takes, you guys, to be like truly champions, is that mentality of you're gonna wake up at 4 a.m. and be like, is it daylight out yet? Because we need to work on this. And this morning at 4 a.m., I was like, is it daylight yet? Because I need to work on this.
Yes.
And that's what you're explaining with Kennedy. And Mom, why, like, what do you think it takes? Like, why do you think that we have this instilled in us? Like, I know that, you know, you've helped us so much in creating exactly like who we are as champions. Like, what does it take to raise a champion?
Well, I mean, I believe that you both definitely have a great work ethic, and it's part of your culture. It's not just it's part of who you are, because it's part of your culture. And I think that's why you guys are so close.
Oh wow, I feel like our next book is gonna be like the culture of being a champion.
It is, actually.
It is.
It's a family tradition.
It is a family tradition, and speaking of that, Cassidy has a really cool family. And I've never seen Cassidy at a rodeo or an event, and there's a true reason why she is a 10-time world champion. And it's because she has a sturdy foundation within her family and a true background in the Western heritage, even. For example, her mom made this beautiful hat.
Yes.
Snaps for Debbie.
Debbie is just getting all her
Snaps
credit
for
today.
Debbie.
And where is she?
Where is she?
I know.
And then we have Devin, of course, Devin is really cool. Like, she's been my best friend throughout high school and into the professional realm. And she's given me so many pep talks. And we've given each other pep talks. But she's one of those people that can truly stand behind you and make you a champion when you're on your lowest day. And I can't imagine having her as a sister. how you have, Cassie, and I'm assuming that that has had a lot to do with you being a 10-time world champion.
Definitely. My sister, everybody, this is my sister Devin, and she is everything to me. I just am so grateful to have someone like you on my team, just because, like I was saying, literally somebody will go back to the trailer and get the weirdest thing, whatever it is.
What is the weirdest thing? Devin, question for you. What's the weirdest thing you went back to the trailer to get for Cass?
Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. Well, let's start with yesterday. Yesterday, Cassidy had.
Let's start with 5 minutes ago.
Yesterday.
When she wanted a booty, blah, blah, blah.
This isn't a weird thing, but yesterday we were at a jackpot and Cassidy's horse had a slip and fell on the concrete, which is ridiculously crazy because, like, you know, you don't, these are things you don't plan on, you know? And so she was like, we were both roping and I was later on in the draw and she was coming up soon, and I was like, well, I'll go back and get some Banamine and some other stuff that will help your horse feel better. So kid you not,
edit, quote, edit.
Kid you not that, like, the light was turning, okay, so you know the cross rocks, right? So the light was turning red and I was like, I think I can make it. Like,
Oh, no, this is Devin.
It's 11, there's 15 seconds across. Yeah, there's 15 seconds that I can cross the street in. If I start running now, I know I can make it. So I ran across the street and I got the Banamine and came back, and yeah, so like, but as far as the weirdest thing, I'd probably just go back to the lipstick.
The lipstick. Cassidy, what shade of lipstick are you wearing today?
I don't know, it was multiple shades because I
Chanel
couldn't get it
22.
right. Couldn't get it right.
She makes her own lipstick. It's really cool. You can find it on her website, which is Thunderbird 92. Thunderbird 92, where you can find all of Cassidy's super cool stuff that she makes because no one else will make it for her. So this is really cool, you guys. Do you guys have any questions for our families? Like, if you want to raise an NFR champion or an elite champion, like, what is the one thing you would like to ask somebody? You know, like one of, like, our parents right here, like our family, of like what it takes to. I'll come down there. Don't worry, I'm gonna dirty dance this thing. Like, anybody, like, let's ask a question, right? What do you have, Jody?
What do we want? What's the most important thing in raising a young champion, in your opinion?
I would say to make sure that the confidence level stays high and that they learn to compete with themselves, not other people.
I love that.
I
That is
love
awesome.
that. You know, I love that, and that is the fearless message here today, and it is all about staying fearless and confident that you're not going to trip when you come up on a stage like
You
that.
can go down the stage.
Yeah,
like,
and you know, being fearless is all about confidence. And speaking of that, we're actually going to say goodbye to our beautiful families.
thank you guys.
I know, and bring on one of the most confident people that I have ever met, Cody Emerson, who is a world champion bullfighter. Talk about confidence, as well as his wife and agent, right? Don't mess that up. Sierra Emerson.
Wow.
This one, y'all. Clap.
Yeah. Clap a little bit. Let's hear some people in the back. Come join us.
Oh, that sound. Who knows what that sound is? There's a
There's the
giveaway.
music. Has anybody? Yes.
Yep,
We
we
got
got
fans out there. Those of you guys that don't remember, if you hear the music, you make some noise.
Yeah, he
We're gonna
wants
give
the
you some
loudest.
swag.
The loudest
The
fan gets the
loudest.
prize, y'all.
I
Thank
mean,
you,
we
Bo
can't,
Brown.
we can't just keep the same people. Just
Bingo.
keep being the loudest fan right there.
You know, I don't know about you, Cass, but I'd like to lead off with what my mom said about just, you know, breeding that confidence into your children. You are a world champion bullfighter. He has been a 3-time top 5 bullfighter in the world, right?
Bullfighter of the Year.
Bullfighter of the Year, I'm so sorry. But what kind of confidence does that take to even, where did it start? I don't even know where to start.
I guess it started when I went to bullfighting school. You know, they have schools and everything, but it's a very key component in bullfighting for sure because you know exactly what you're supposed to do, and you got to be confident, and you don't ever second guess any of your moves. And that guy that comes off the bull is relying on me to protect him. So like every decision I make in a split second, he's counting on. So confidence for me is a game changer, honestly.
Do you have
What you got?
That's amazing. Like, I'm just like, wow. He decided today that I'm gonna go save some people from a 1,000-pound, if not, like,
Yeah.
bull. Like, does that take mental preparation? Like,
yes.
how do you get yourself like in that zone? Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, everybody knows like the rodeo and stuff. Like, is there some people like maybe that are just kind of like, I don't know about you, but how's it going? Like, how do you prepare yourself to like fight the bull? Like, you must have like some type of switch. Tell us the details. I want to know. I mean, you're risking your life out there.
That is true.
And my next question after that
Okay.
is for your wife, and I wanted to ask her, like, how does she say,
I do.
okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's deep.
Yeah, I think you just stay in shape and put in the work during the week, and that's when you get to the rodeo, you know you're in shape to give the first bull rider and the last bull rider the most effort you can, because just the guy goes last, he needs the most, like, the same protection as I give the first guy. So it's on me to be prepared during the week and know my body's ready and my mind's ready for everything like that.
What does that entail to be like physically and mentally tough to be a world champion bullfighter? And not just that, it's not about winning, right? Like winning that world championship, I'm sure, is the cherry on top of your career.
Definitely.
However, what your main goal is saving lives of the best bull riders in the world.
Yes, that's.
So how do you mentally prepare for that?
I think you just, well, we watch a lot of film, and you watch a lot of other people and see how they get around the bulls and what the positions they put themselves in. So I think it's just a lot of studying, just like any other sport, during the week, not just while you're in the moment on the weekends.
Just like football.
Exactly. It's just like football, but no whistle.
But no whistle,
Yeah.
that's really important.
And like,
That's way
I'm
worse.
gonna add too, we read a lot of like psychology books too about the mental aspect of like, you can train the brain also, not just the body. And so we have read a bunch of books. Like David Cook has a great book that just came out. It's called Greatness. And he was the sports psychologist for the San Antonio Spurs. And so not only physically, but like the mental game of all sports, but bullfighting is like, you're gonna get hurt. And when you get hurt, can you come back mentally to trust your body again? And so I'm gonna give him credit physically, but like the studying of the mind is really important too.
Wow. I think that's amazing. And I mean, if you have that behind you, that support of your wife,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh,
You
for
guys
sure.
are actually just now celebrating your anniversary, right? 7 years?
Oh yeah, 7
Wow.
years.
Let's
Out
hear
here.
Isn't that the hump? Like it's like 7 years, like, and then you're good forever.
We actually got married out here after the perf was over.
See,
Wow.
babe, where is he? Babe, did you hear that? They got married out here, and they're going strong.
10:30.
Yes, they're going strong. 7 years.
Yeah, so
10:30?
tonight at 9:05 p.m. Just kidding.
It was at 10:30
Was it
because we had to
10:30?
wait for the perf to get over, and then like we had some guys in the
It was
performance
great. You
that
guys-
were groomsmen, so we had
Yeah.
to wait for the rodeo to get over, and
So-
yeah, we celebrated at 10:30 at night and went to the South Point as our reception.
That is
Love
awesome.
that. Actually, Cody asked me to marry him at the South Point during the back number ceremony.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm putting him on the spot. He's like really not like a camera people person, so he's over there fixing to pass out. I would love to go back, Cody, a little bit. You guys said that he went through an injury, and that within itself takes a lot of mental preparation. Like even just, I've been through injuries as well as you know, AMBERLEY SNYDER is coming on later,
Yeah.
and that is very much the message today. So mentally, how did you, like what do you do, or what did you do in that moment in time to bring yourself out of that and back into the peak performance level? And then also Sierra, like nobody knows this, but rodeo wives, like and she's not just a rodeo wife, she's an agent. So she's doing the business side of things as well as the wife side of things. And when we are trying to, you know, get our husbands out of a slump to be able to compete at the peak level, it's mentally exhausting within itself. So I want to know all your all secrets so I can go home and have a happy marriage.
Yeah, I went to, when Dusty got hurt out here, I went to the Fort Worth Stock Show and helped him out and took his spot for the year, and I ended up tearing a tendon on the bottom of my foot, so like I had to go sit at home for 13 weeks and not even walk on it at all. So it's definitely the biggest injury that I've ever overcome, and I think just like we talked about earlier, I had to just start small and get the confidence back in it and know that it was going to be holding up when I got out there. And
well, show us where it's at. Like, what tendon are you talking about on the bottom of your foot?
Well, my foot came down on the ground just like this, and there was a bull running over me, so it folded my foot in half. So my arch fell down in my shoe when I took off running. I was like, I'm not all right. So
I'm not all right.
And they said you could go home. You got to have surgery. So actually, the surgeon for the San Antonio Spurs fixed it, and
wow. And is that how you guys got hooked up with David's book?
Yeah. Well,
not
this
at all.
is crazy.
So,
story.
yeah, this is actually a really crazy story. So I own a hair salon back at home, and we were at a gala event, and it was raining, and so we were just like waiting out front, and I'm a social person, so I just said hi to the lady and man next to us, and I had no idea that it was David Cook and his wife. And so they had just moved to our town, was looking for a place to get her hair done, so I referred my salon, and it was like 6 months into it, I was asking her like what her husband does and, you know, what his favorite book was, she said, well, I have 2 books. I have one that I really like and then one that pays our bills. And I was like, oh, well, what's that? And she said, well, 7 Days in Utopia. And that's like one of my favorite movies and books. And I was just shocked because she was so humble and kind. And so we got to talk about the mental game. And so he you know, given Cody some books to read, and so that's how we met. And I'm a firm believer in networking and loving people, and because you never know the connections that you're going to make. So had we not said hi to them that day, we wouldn't have had the resources to help Cody's like mental game. So
That's amazing. That's a blessing.
Oh, for sure.
I hear you when it comes to networking. However, you still have to have like a beautiful personality and like a clear soul, right? That people want to be involved in. And I'm sure, like, you're intriguing the minute you walked back there. I'm like, oh, this girl, like, she's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Cody, but like, I'm girl power all the way. So I want to hear more about how you made him famous. Let's talk about that.
yeah, so Cody was already famous when I would say like in the bullfighting world, he had already had the world championship like covered by the time we met. And I grew up rodeoing. I roped breakaway and tied goats, so like my dad made the final, so I was very clear of what a rodeo life and family entailed. I was not shocked with the environment, to say the least. And so it's one thing to grow up like in the industry and then be married to the industry. You know, it's a very like fun and it's a great industry, but it can be lonely like as a wife. And so I was like kind of struggling with that, not feeling like a part of the industry anymore, because I had taken a step back and focused like on my businesses. But I love rodeo and the people and the networking. And so that is like where I took on the role of his agent, because he had some sponsors and they were like, they were great sponsors, but he just really didn't understand what that took to get sponsors. And so we really focused on that, and he never just said, you're gonna take over the marketing. I just kind of did. I was like, this is gonna keep me involved and this is gonna benefit us. And I love the physical aspect of rodeo, but I also love the people and the psychology of rodeo. And I just can't go any more into the mental of not just like the bullfighter, but like the wives and the kids and the sacrifices that they make. And I'm sure like y'all can relate as like the athletes, but on the other end of that, you have to really love the game too, to not, because it is a selfish game. And if they're home, that's not what they need to be doing. They're not accomplishing if they're at home. And so it takes a really confident person to love them from afar. And
wow, I love that. Let's give her a round of applause. That's huge right
Yeah.
there. What a beautiful, fearless person.
I mean, I really do. I think that on social media, people just get a false expectation of what the life is. There's a lot of times where you really are away from each other. And so you do have to have a foundation, confidence in yourself, and then confidence in your relationship too.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I feel like we're just having like a glass of wine right now, and I'm like, girl, like for real.
That's what you told us to do backstage.
Yes, I'm like, let's just hang out and like be at the kitchen table, and I love this, and I'm actually really intrigued by you guys. I wish we could have you up literally for 5 hours, because that's like the kind of night I want to have, but she could do it. Well, just real quick before you guys exit, Cody, are you competing this week?
No, I'm kind of retired from the freestyle bullfighting game. A lot of my friends are still doing it, and they actually have me help them. Like, I was one of the first guys when the BFO, I know everyone will know what that is, but the bullfighters on there you go. Well, I was one of the first guys that we went up in the hotel room and drawed it up, and I was one of them, so I work for them now. And
so you're one of the creators.
Pretty close, yeah.
I love that.
So, yeah,
Okay.
one of the first. Like, I was fighting bulls for them, but I just focus on my rodeos now and focus on the cowboy protection side of things. So, but it was probably 10 or 12 years in the freestyle game, so I'll let all the kids have that now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All the young guys.
What is your advice for our beautiful crowd right now on what they need to do to be as fearless as you both have been once they leave here today?
I think just the confidence side and anything you're doing, really just going in, like, there's no second guessing of, what could happen, or always focus on what actually can happen and not, I don't want to do this. Or you see a lot of people say, like, I don't want to break the barrier, or I don't want to hit a barrel. Well, that's the last thing that goes through your mind before.
So what do you tell yourself instead of that? So he just said, like, instead of saying I can't hit a barrel, like 10th round of the NFR winning the average, right? I can't hit a barrel. What would you say instead? What's your advice?
As a barrel racer, or what? As a
I mean,
bullfighter?
that was like my analogy, so
Okay,
let's run with
I
it.
would say, just make a good run, and then I'll be ready to go up on stage and get that buckle after the 10th round. That's what I'd say.
So that visualization of
yeah.
like just receiving that buckle at the
Definitely,
10th
yeah.
round. I love
Yeah,
it.
I think like in one word, it's preparation.
Yeah.
Because you can't be confident if you haven't put yourself in that situation. And so you have to prepare before you get there. And so that's the other thing is, like, the NFR took so many hours before you were at the NFR. And if you hadn't ran down the Thomas and Mack before, it's going to be very anxious and nervous, and like the mind, actually, anxiousness and excitement are actually wired the same. And so when you can switch that from a negative to a positive, you turn that anxiousness into excitement, and that's where the gold comes.
I love that you just said that, because I was super nervous at Reno Rodeo my rookie year, and I had made the short go. However, I had ran in a perf where it was just like kind of, like none of the world champions were there, but I got to the short go, and there was, I'm gonna show my age, there was Mary Berger and and Lisa Lockhart and Lindsay Sears, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I was, 18 or 19? And my mom could tell that I was nervous. And she came up to me and she said, Sydney, the chemicals that are released in your brain and your body when you are nervous is the same chemicals as when you are excited. All you have to do is change what you're telling yourself.
That's exactly right.
So instead of telling yourself you're nervous,
That's what, like, a lot of bullfighters you'll see before they walk up there to call for a fight. Well, so if honestly, if they have a real good friend, they'll go over there and they'll be talking to them before, like, I remember a lot of bullfights when I was younger. Cody Webster would pull me over the side before I walked up there and just tell me, like, hey, you got it, go bust him down, do what you're supposed to do. And, like, that's the last thing I heard before I walked out there from him, and pretty sure he knows what he's talking about. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's experience you and I had hauling together. Is like when you're so close to somebody and you're hauling together, no matter how irritated you are with them, because you've been with them in a small confined space for 3 months, you know, they can read your face and know when something's not right and when you need a pep talk. And I loved that about you, hauling with you.
Yes, I love that too, just because you actually were one of the people that really has also helped me in get into that zone, to get myself to be fearless and to be, you know, your brand, everything you represent, Sid. It's not just you represent so much for as a barrel racer and getting people that what do we think about? Okay, wait, let's stop. Let's be fearless. So that's amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's
Appreciate
amazing.
you having
I
us.
appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Let's give a round of applause for Cody and his wife/agent/Supergirl, Sierra Emerson.
Yes.
Hustler in the next room over, and his whole message is anti-bullying and how to be fearless. So that's why we have him here today. Let's give him a big round of applause one more
Yes.
time.
And his music. Where's the music? Play his music so we know.
All right, y'all, this is the really hard part for me, and it's when I tell my fearless story. You will hear it one time this week and one time this time next year. So I hope you enjoy it because I get really emotional. I'm really excited to have AMBERLEY SNYDER on, and this is why. I have a little bit of a fearless story. So I had already qualified for the NFR, and like we explained earlier with all of our amazing elite competitors that were on beforehand, it takes so much from the time that you were literally born to be able to be an elite athlete and be at that top level. And I'm not saying that you guys can't achieve that dream today, you totally can. But for us, you know, I'm sure Cassidy too, 100%, we have been working at this since we were in our parents' womb. Like, my mom was running barrels and I was in her womb. So like, I already learned how to sit, say whoa, and turn and look, right?
Definitely.
Sit, turn, look.
Entered before we were hatched.
We were entered before we were hatched. So, long story short, I had all that preparation coming up, qualified for the NFR, got to win Rookie of the Year, the Collegiate National Championship. So I was well on my way with a very clear vision of what my life was supposed to look like, and it was to be an elite rodeo athlete. And I was at Houston Rodeo after making the NFR the previous year, and I had an accident on my horse, and I ended up breaking my sacrum and fracturing my thoracic spine, as well as damaging the band of nerves around my tailbone. Now, when you have nerve damage, you never know if you're ever going to come back from that. It's absolutely horrible. I couldn't walk. It was not that I couldn't just not feel my legs, they just weren't listening to my brain, and it was the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. So, like, if you know, I put my toe on the ground, long story short, I got off in the alley at Houston because I didn't know what was wrong. And I touched the ground with my toe, and there was a shooting pain up my spine, and it was, you know, like, quote unquote, made me vomit. But, so, you know, it was really difficult. When I found out all the injuries and what they entailed, it was scary because that doctor told me, you know, it could be 6 months, 6 years. We don't know with nerve damage, but you're probably never going to be an elite athlete ever again. And to hear that when you have worked your whole life to be an elite athlete and you have achieved it already and had a very clear goal of what that would look like was absolutely devastating for me. So in my midst of absolute despair, I started really diving into the Bible and reading books, and I read a book by Max Lucado, and it's called Fearless. And it talked about how you shall be fearless in God's divine plan for you, no matter what that looks like, whether it is what you want and what you planned or not. And that really hit home for me because I'm like, man, I'm literally sitting here, I can't move. I have no choice at this point but to trust in God's plan. And whether that be a professional barrel racer again or data analysis, I'm going to go full throttle into what He wants for my life, even if it's not what I wanted for my life. And the minute I truly gave that up and gave that, and when I say that, you guys, I mean a true give up of that feeling of, you know what, okay, it's all you. I give up. I don't care anymore. I do want to serve you. This is absolutely horrible, but I know that you have a plan. So the minute I gave that up, I started healing rapidly. And long story short, I went through lots of underwater therapy. You guys can hear the whole story on the podcast, Ride Fearless. But for right now, I'm giving you cliff notes. And I started healing rapidly. I had a turnout of the Dodge National Circuit Finals. I didn't get to go to that. A lot of really big qualifying events I didn't get to go to. However, what I did get to compete in was the Calgary Stampede. And that was one of my first runs back. And I had to have my brother drive me because I couldn't, my legs wouldn't listen to my brain to push down the gas pedal. I had to do all my therapy every day for my legs to, listen at all. Because originally when I got back on a horse, I turned the first barrel and tried to get up and my legs didn't work and it actually knocked me out because I hit the saddle so hard. And my brother got me off of my horse at that point, and that was when it was very real, where it was like, wow, I may truly never be able to do this again at that level for sure. And so, it was really hard. However, like I said, I started healing rapidly after giving my life to God and truly just, trusting in His plan. And we got to the Calgary Stampede, and I was so grateful to be there that it doesn't even matter that we won as much as we did, because I was so grateful to be able to ride my horse, compete at that level, and that I could still smell like what the track smelled like. I can tell you exactly what color houses are, up on the mountain frame of that track at the Calgary Stampede. But I was so blessed to have gone there and won every single round of the Calgary Stampede. That's never been done before, never been done again. And it was truly God's way of saying, you know what, I will reward you for sticking with me, no matter what.
Thank you. Let's give her a clap, guys. Come on, where's everybody at? I mean,
wow. So the Team Fearless thing comes from when I was doing autographs there at the Calgary Stampede. I started saying, be fearless to everybody and all my autograph sheets. And I wanted to be able to incorporate that with a larger group of individuals as a team. And so I started calling the team of people who helped me, like the team that were up here today, that we were interviewing, my Team Fearless. And then beyond that, it turned into the Team Fearless virtual barrel racing circuit and the app. So the app is something very inspirational that you can go on, you see all this coaching stuff, all happy, help you be fearless in every single way, as well as compete on a virtual barrel racing circuit that includes every single race in the nation. So anywhere you compete, today, yesterday, or tomorrow, will count for your world standings, state standings, and national standings. Very cool, and that's what we created Team Fearless. I have a guest that has had a completely different experience than I did. In fact, she didn't come back from her injury. She figured out how to create something out of her injury, and this is professional barrel racer and movie star, Amberley SNYDER.
I'm like, gotta give you one of those.
You can have anything of mine.
Thank you. I'm excited. Well, and hey, I was glad Cassidy got to be here too. I'm glad I get to hang out with both of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to sit down because, truly, this is like my wine kitchen table experience right here with these girls. So I'm going to sit down and just chill.
All right.
Let's do it.
Thank you for having me on. I'm excited. I'm like, where should I come over and I get to hang out with all three of you right here? I'll just do that.
Oh, Cass is gonna sit too. We just want to hang out with Amber.
yeah.
We're besties. I don't know if y'all got a photo. Just kidding. Right here. Amber, tell us a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited
I'm
to see you.
so
Amazing. I am so pumped to be interviewing Amberley SNYDER today.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
I love when I get to come and hang out with you guys and we get to talk about barrel racing and why we get to do what we get to do. And I mean, all three of us know what it's like to have challenges in order to continue to do the sport that we love, and that the odds are not always in our favor, and that it's going to continue to take obstacles to compete what we want to do. And I feel like, I don't know, between the three of us, there's a lot of relation that gets to go around on that.
I think I selfishly invite you on the show just so I can ask you super uncomfortable questions.
Which is fine. I don't even have a problem with that at all. I can handle that just fine.
For example, I just was telling everybody how my experience was, the minute I gave my life to God, I actually started healing, but I was okay if I hadn't healed. You know what I mean? Like I was okay with whatever God wanted for my life, even if that had nothing to do with horses. And I want to know if you can take yourself, it's so easy to look back and be like, oh yeah, I was going to be a champion no matter what. But I don't think you guys realize if you haven't experienced an injury, in the moment of the injury, it is all consuming. What was your experience on coming out of that and like hearing your news and being able to, you know, talk yourself into where you are today?
Well, I'll try to make this a short answer to that. I'm trying to like, okay, how do I want to say that? Because I mean, sitting on the side of the road after I wrecked my truck and I can't feel my legs, you immediately are thinking through, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to ride my horses? I can't spend my life in a wheelchair. That's not my plan. And then you have surgery and they tell you the chances of you walking or moving your legs is slim to none, but more to the none. So then you hear that and you realize, okay, so that's not a guarantee anymore. You know, at first when you're in the hospital, you think, all right, well, I'm gonna leave here walking and then I'll just get back to the life that I wanted to have. Then you don't leave the hospital walking, right?
Plans,
yeah, you think that. And then you go home and I tell myself, if I get back on my horse, this is magically going to be fixed.
It sounds like you were really positive from the beginning.
And you are, right?
I wasn't.
No, you look at.
I was like, this is horrible. I'm done forever.
Well, and you can, you know, there's going to be, I mean, it wasn't like I didn't cry every single day over something, right? The first day in therapy, they tell me I'm not going to be able to lift myself into a truck, right? And I go to my room and I tell my mom, well, I'm a truck girl. We're truck girls. If we're gonna pull horses to a trailer, or pull a trailer with horses to the rodeo, you have to be able to get into a truck. And it was like, okay, I was sad about that and heard that news. And then the next day I wake up and I tell my therapist, I'm getting into a truck. So what are we doing to make that happen?
Were you born with that mindset of like, hey, I'm gonna tell you that this is what's gonna happen, you just tell me how it's gonna happen?
I think so. I blame my dad for that, for the fact that, you know, whatever princess asked for, right? That was the reality.
He made it happen.
He did. I mean, when
You
I was
hear that,
7,
dads? It actually pays
seriously.
off if you give your daughters everything they want.
Yeah, as if they're willing to work for that. I mean, I told my dad at 7 years old, Dad, I'm only gonna move with the family to Utah at 7 if you buy me a Palomino barrel horse when I get there. And my dad's
Stop
like,
it.
okay, we'll find you a Palomino barrel horse. Thanks for coming with the family.
And what was the Palomino barrel horse's name?
Her name was Lacey.
Of course.
Wow.
Yes. And so, I mean, that's where it started. I think just having that mentality. I tell people I had the perfect combination of parents because my dad, being a Major League Baseball player, he knew what it took to be the best, right? That was something he was capable of. He knew the hard work that went into that, the perseverance that went into that, to be at that level. So he expected us kids to be that exact same way. Now my mom, I'm going to tell you, my mom taught us that even if you didn't win, that's not where your value came from.
Are you sure?
I mean,
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. And that's what I really, that's what my mom would say, you know? She's like, it's okay. If I called my dad and I took second, he was like, oh, you're first loser today, right? My mom is like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Like, it's okay. You have again. And I feel like that combination, I mean, you guys talked about your families today and getting to listen to your families. I love getting to do that. And so listening to them, I just think, yeah, how lucky was I to have 2 parents that raised me to be that way, so that when this came along, it was like, I'm already trained for this.
Wow. That is so, I mean, that has truly touched me. I've never heard that side of your story where you're like, you know, I was prepared for this because of how my parents raised me and how they had that like perfect combination in your life.
Yeah, I mean,
point.
I get to be lucky for that.
I love that.
That's amazing. That is so awesome. I am wondering, what was your experience like filming Walk Ride Rodeo? Like, that's.
Have you guys seen Walk Ride Rodeo?
Yeah, I should say, if you've seen it, thank you. If you haven't, get it together.
Yes, get it.
I know girls that have seen that movie like on replay. I feel like I could play your part at this point. I'm like, oh yeah.
I feel like there are some parents I owe apologies to for how often it is just played
Now's
at
your
their
chance.
house
Now's your
over and
chance.
over and over. I'm like, man, thanks for listening to that a million times. But you know, that was really cool. Really, when they came to me in the beginning to ask to watch that or to film that, I actually told them no, because
Because you were scared? Was the fear taking over?
I felt like my family had been through enough the first time around.
That's really,
Yeah, and so I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And my parents were like, no, we should do it. Let's do it. So then, I mean, I said yes at that point because they were okay with that. So that was why we did film it, and it was cool. Every day on set was emotional. All the emotions you would think. Like, it's exciting that we're filming it. It's hard because we're reliving. It's frustrating for the stuff that they wouldn't make perfectly accurate.
Yes.
I mean, it's all of those emotions that you felt every day.
Is there something that you would like to set the story straight on that they didn't make accurate?
Oh man, you know.
Now's your chance. I mean,
know.
we're like on live TV right now. Let's do
I
it.
can do all sorts of things, but one, I mean, I would say my family was more involved than they were. That's my least favorite part, is that my family should have been in there more than they were. And most people, when they watch the film, they think I only have like 2 sisters and a brother, when there's 6 of us.
Sorry, what?
Yes, like there's
6 of
there's
you?
6 of us, and so that part they didn't do a great job portraying that. And I'll not tell the story of why they didn't, but like they just could have done a better job. And so I feel like that I wish that they could have changed. There was a lot more grunting that came out of me than in real life. And I would tell them, I'm like, I didn't grunt like that. Every time I did,
honest.
I'm like, I didn't grunt like that. And they're like, well, it needs to look hard. I said, it was hard. But you don't
I'm just
hear me.
trained for this,
Yes,
okay?
I'm like, you don't hear me wheeling, going, down the road. I'm like, you don't do that. So they did add a little more grunting than what was needed in my mind. Which, yeah, I mean, that part, but I mean, they did a good job. Like, they did. And this story has gone and helped a lot of people, and I love that part of it.
Yes.
Beyond all the stuff that you would like to set straight about Walk Ride Rodeo, I was gonna say rock, Rock Ride Rodeo, Walk Ride Rodeo, what is the message that you were hoping, and did they end up getting the message that you were wanting to portray to the world out of that movie?
Yes, I do think that they did a good job with that part. And I don't even think that I recognized that until the movie was released. Because that was one of my hiccups with the movie was, I mean, I told my mom, I'm like, I haven't done anything cool yet. Like, why are we making a movie, right? And my mom has
Wait,
to...
time out. You were at the American. I watched you. I think I was there. Like, I watched you at the
when I first
American.
met you. That's when I'm confused.
And
I was literally like, wow. I'm like, I better freaking, like, this is so amazing. Even just running against you at that
I'm gonna
moment.
say it. Like, we need to get our shit together. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, man,
No excuses.
no excuses. Yeah, exactly.
That's how we feel.
Well, so for me, I was like, I haven't won anything. And so, anyway, when the movie came out, and I started getting messages from people over and over and over, and then meeting people, and then being like, you know, your movie really helped me, and it changed my life, or saved my life, and I'm like, okay, when you talk about a God thing, I mean, that's one of those God things that I'm like, oh, okay, God knew more than me here. You know, I didn't have to win a world title for this movie to have a purpose.
Right. And it like kind of about what's his plan, and not just with that. I don't feel like, I think people get wrapped up in the idea that God can stop certain things from happening, but in reality, he just makes the best out of any negative circumstance that may have happened if you allow him to, if you give him the opportunity to.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the way that it works. I mean, I tell people all the time, you know, we don't get to choose what happens to us, but we always get to choose how we're going to handle it.
I love that. Hit quote unquote. That's a t-shirt.
Yeah, t-shirt that Amberley SNYDER.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amberley. Does anybody, before Amberley leaves, does anybody have a question that you've just waited your entire life to ask Amberley? Actually, yes, ma'am.
I wanted to share with her how important your work is to the parents out there of special needs kids. What you just said about how important your parents were is being heard by people that I work with that have children with special needs. And you're such a blessing to them because it's 24/7 with special needs kids. And they're trying to prepare them so that they have that, I forget how you put it now because I'm nervous.
Like an outlook?
Yes, that outlook when they go through life as adults, that they can be stronger and better for it, you know, and you're just such a blessing to them. God is using you, Amber.
Well, thank you. Thank
That
you.
was beautiful.
I appreciate that. Thank
I wish
you
guys could have heard that. I was like, I'm gonna chance to, and then no, I'll have an issue, a wardrobe issue if I would have jumped down there so everybody could hear her. But she said that she feels, she wanted Amberley to know how grateful she is as a mother of a special needs individual, that Amberley knows how much she inspires those individuals as well as the parents in their walk of life with what they're going through. And then she also said, you're doing great things through God.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I am lucky that I get to do that, honestly. I tell you what, and even for you and for kids that are in that situation, there's never a morning you wake up and you say, today I'm going to be an inspiration. It doesn't work like that. You know, it's really, today I'm going to do the very best that I can. And then through that effort and that attitude, that is how you inspire people. And that is whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's you and your child or anybody. I mean, it's, you just do the very best you can. And just always, I have to remind myself of this. Someone is always praying for what you have. And if I ever get in a moment where I start to get frustrated of what I'm dealing with and what I'm doing and not going the way that I plan, right? Or horses getting hurt or me getting hurt or whatever that is, I just have to remember someone is praying for what I have. And then you say, okay, you know what? I'm actually going to be okay. Like it's going to be all right.
This is amazing. I love this show has brought so much more to me personally. And thank you, Sydney, for having all of us on it and getting to hear everybody's message.
Well, I love this, and exactly, I mean, what you're saying about that, well, Cassidy and I hauled together when we were making the NFR back in the day. And that's, you know, a lot, part of it is, you know, we have a lot of times, you guys, we don't as professional athletes go out there and we're like, we're the best every day. We wake up feeling the absolute best ever every day. You know what I mean? It's not the Ricky Bobby movie. It is hard and difficult, and we have to have these traveling partners in your team, because it takes a team day behind you to lift you up out of those moments when it does get hard. We have another question in the crowd.
To make a part 2, Amberley, about your movie, about just like everything you do now, just like a day in a life movie about how like you ride and everything. You should make a part 2 to your
Make
movie.
a part 2. I mean, somebody at some point I'm sure will make a part 2, and we'll get to do that. I figure when I walk or I make the NFR, then I'm sure there will be somebody who will come and do a part 2.
Which is going to be soon.
That's going to be soon. I mean, you are on the way, girl. You're doing so good with your horses. I see you out there.
Well,
You're doing
thank
it.
you.
Yes.
We all see it. We saw her and we're like, gosh, she's such an inspiration. And then she started kind of like beating us and we're like, oh, uh-oh. But you know, they only take 15. But no, we love you and we love all of our traveling partners. And thank you so much for coming up today. We're going to keep you on stage though, because we have a rising star that is super excited to meet you. And I'm excited to meet her, because speaking of people just like outrunning you, how about when a 9-year-old just, you know, puts you in the 2D at a super show? We have rising star Dusky Lynn Hall. And her invisible friend, Sasha, who made it up before her. So Dusky is 10 years old right now? When did you turn 10, Dusky?
A month ago. You're gonna hold it really close. A month ago.
Wow. What day's your birthday?
November 7th.
November 7th. Yeah, you've been 10 for like a whole month at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you a question. I mean, I didn't know. I'm not even the host today, but since I'm up here, I get to ask you questions. I want you to tell us a little bit about the horses that you ride.
I have a lot of good horses. My first one that made me ever to the American was 2 horses. One, there are 2 retired. We have Old Dog. I've done so good on him. And then we have Adidash, and she was another really good one. And then we have Dexter. I ran him at Globe Life, and he's just been an amazing horse for me.
And you won Globe Life, right?
No, I didn't make it.
Oh, I'm just kidding. In my head, you're the winner. Dusky Lynn Hall is forever like just #1, period.
Well, really, and you see, if you follow any social media now, every single race that you are at, they get to do slow-mos of you just kicking everybody's trash. So that's always a favorite for me, that I get to see how you ride. Oh, here's one of your runs right behind us. Are you running this week?
Yes. Where Vegas toughest.
At the Vegas, was that last year, this year?
This year.
That was this year.
Wow.
How'd that run go?
Pretty good. I'm pretty sure I won second or third.
Do you have another round to do?
Yes, I have the next round, and then we have a crazy day on Monday because we have the hot round and stuff, and then we have KK.
So yeah, just a little bit busy.
And you have a short go tomorrow where you outran me at, because I'm pretty sure you were second and I was third, or you were third and I was fourth. Yeah, just say it's fine. Like, gloat, girl. This is your time. You'd be like, yes, I beat 3-time NFR qualifier SYDNI Blanchard on her horse because I'm just simply the best. Right? Yeah, say it and tell us about your horse. That was a Busby horse because we were both on Busby horses yesterday.
The Blazing Jelena, he's from the Busby Quarter Horses. He's Jax, he's Jet's Letter Stabby, and he's won me a lot too.
You want me to tell you a secret? That horse, when it was a weanling on their website, I tried to buy him.
Stop it. I tried to buy him.
And I was like, what the heck? Why did I not end up with that horse? And then you show up on him and I'm like, Josh,
God thing.
that was supposed to be mine. But it's all right. You look good on him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was all meant to be, right?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most as a competitive athlete? Like, you have already won an AQHA World Championship, right? You won Junior World. You're here, about to win the Patriot. What is your actual goal of where you want to be, like, when you're old like us?
I want to go to the NFR and I want to win the million at the Globe Life.
Amen.
That's awesome.
Have you done a qualifier yet this year?
Yes, on Dexter. My trouble never looked so good.
And how'd that go? You heading back for the semifinals? The regional finals? I guess that's what they do now for the American, right?
We're going to go to Tulsa.
In Tulsa. That's the regional finals.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you a non-barrel racer question. What do you do when you're not riding your barrel horses?
I don't really know that question.
That was a good question.
I mean, you go to school.
I'm homeschooled.
You're homeschooled, so you get to pick when your school is.
Kind of.
Kind of. Who's your teacher?
K-Sample.
K-Sample's your teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty serious about it? Makes you do your work, get your work done. And then if you're not doing school, you're on a horse?
Most of the time, yeah.
No fun activity in between. Movies you like to watch?
Sometimes do that, but I mostly play with my little dog, Riley.
Little dog Riley. I love that.
Dusky, were you born fearless?
Probably.
Most likely, huh? Do you remember the first time you got on a horse?
No, not really.
But it was at a barrel race.
Yeah.
It was running around 3 cans.
Yeah.
Do you know KASSIDY Dennison's made the NFR?
Hi. I'm so, I watched you and your little body go around the barrels, and it's amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm like, how does she do it? Like, she definitely has to be born fearless. Just coming out, running the cans. Probably your mom was probably running the cans before you even ran the cans.
Well, in 8 years, I look forward to KASSIDY and AMBERLEY and I all look forward to running against you here at the NFR.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Can you believe that? It's going to be 8 years.
I know. Thank you so much, sweetheart. You're so amazing.
Give a round of applause for Dusky Lynn.
I do believe that it's
the next guest, I guess, and they are no stranger to Vegas. We'll talk about their family, and you guys can get a little bit of the roping side. The Goodrich family, they're both here. Gator and his father are both here. Let's bring them up.
Brad Goodrich is actually a 6-time NFR calf roper, and Gator is his rising star son. And I have to tell you guys that I've been to their house during a practice session, and it's incredibly intense. It's not like barrel racer land at my house. Like, it's okay, honey, you're doing great. No, it's like we're 10th round at the NFR, and you're going to rope like it's the 10th round at the NFR every time. Why? I understand why, but my gosh, that means when you get to the 10th round, you have ran that 10th round at least 1,000 times in your practice, Ben.
Yeah, so at our house, I've been to the finals and prepared for it and had to do the things it takes to qualify and get there. And so our kids showed a lot of interest right off the bat. And so we felt like we were trying to prepare them not for junior rodeos or high school rodeos, but prepare them for the end goal, which is the NFR. So, and I am guilty. I'm very intense, especially especially in the arena. So yes, at our house when we practice, we're all in and we're roping to win, and so we push it on our kids that we put scenarios in front of them that, hey, this is your 8th calf at the finals, or this is the short go at Cheyenne, or whatever it is, and we feel like if you practice that at home, then when you're in that situation at the rodeo, it's comfortable because you've already been through it in your mind and it's not a new phenomenon.
I love that, but you know, Gator's got like bug eyes right now. He's like reliving all the practice sessions that his dad was just voicing. Right. And I want to know, I think now you're at the age, Gator, that you're kind of beginning to realize the why to the madness. But how was that growing up before understanding, like, you know what, this all actually makes sense and this is truly how you do it?
Yeah, so it was definitely competitive around our place. I mean, it was just practice how you play pretty much. There's no point in practicing if you're not going to do it to compete and put 100% of your effort in. So even if it meant there'd be tears shedding and screaming matches, we got after it every day and didn't leave nothing out. We didn't leave any energy left after we got out of the arena. We were all pretty tired every day. So, but that's what it takes to be a winner. You know, you got to put it all in, or you're not doing it right. So.
Did you have the same experience, Cassidy, in the roping pin with your family, or just the practice pin in general?
In general, yes. I think, well, you know, like you are always one that always would tell me also, like, hey, it don't matter what we're going for right now. Like, if we're running at a 40 jackpot and there's only 20 girls or 10 girls, we're running for 100,000.
I can't believe you remember that.
Why would I not?
100,000.
Why would I not? I mean, you have to go into practice, go into it 100 because you want to make it to the top and you want, I mean, out of curiosity, Gator, I want to know what it is that sticks in your mind as a competitor that your family was like, that's one thing, like you called dad and you're like, what is it? What is he going to tell you on the phone? Like, what is one thing? I mean, we can bleep it out. It's okay.
Oh yeah, we'll bleep it out later. Or not.
Don't be a pussy, pretty much.
I think that is all of us, right?
Yeah, no.
That's all of us.
Pretty
But what
much.
is one thing that,
Grit
like,
your teeth and give it your best. I mean, we're not here. Have fun and all that, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you better freaking win. You know what I mean? It's competitive and like have fun while you're doing it, but we're not here to just dress up and play cowboy. You know, like it's just like a job. You mean it's your living. You know.
That's like just creating and raising that type of champion to be able to compete at these junior events here and then go on, Brad, to making the NFR as the end goal. But it seems like to me, Gator, that you've already gone through all of those scenarios where you would be nervous in the short go at Cheyenne, or you were roping the 10th calf at the NFR to win the average. And so you've gone through that mentally over and over. And do you feel like that you've already roped cows out of that box like a million times?
Yeah, I mean, repetition. I mean, I put in a lot of hours to making the same movements in my head and what I'm going to do out there. And no matter how much you do it, I mean, you're still going to have some nerves. You're not human if you don't have nerves. So, like, when I still back in the box, I'm still kind of nervous, but it's more dull and I can think more clearly and everything's going more slowly in my head.
Do you enjoy being nervous? Like for me, I try to like kind of enjoy that. I'm like, oh good, I still feel something for the game. You know what I mean? If I'm nervous, it means I'm alive.
Yeah, exactly. No, I enjoy it because I mean it's all part of the rush. I mean it's your high. It's this is all really exciting. This moment. I mean everyone's watching. This big crowds, these big arenas. I mean it's a fun competitive place. But yeah, no, it's super fun. You enjoy it while it lasts.
I love that. And Brad, I've seen you rope competitively and win Pendleton several times. And Pendleton to me, like, have you guys ever been to Pendleton, the Pendleton Stampede? Is anybody here? It's I don't know if you've been there to watch and you're like having fun and you're thinking, oh, I totally want to compete there one day until you enter and they call your name and you like turn and you're watching sweat drop down Sherry Servy's face and you're like, oh dear, if she's nervous, then I have something to be nervous about. But yet we have a, three-time Pendleton champion sitting with us. How do you go through the mindset of competing there with that long alley and the setup there at Pendleton?
Well, for me, I was lucky that I was a 18-year-old kid the first time I went, so I didn't know enough to be nervous, and I had success the first year. But it's something that we've talked about in our family a lot. Our family loves Pendleton, and so for us, it's a vacation. It's the best rodeo of the year. The grass doesn't intimidate us. We've talked about it a lot in the practice pen. We practice to win, and we don't let outside elements affect us doing our job. So if it's raining, we're liable to practice in the rain, because when we get to a rodeo and it's raining, half of the competitors are going to be intimidated by the rain or the mud or the conditions because you're uncomfortable. And so just like at Pendleton, where there's a mile of grass and there's the lane, half of the competitors are scared, and so they're already beaten in their own head. And so for us, for our family anyway, we love Pendleton. We look forward to competing on the grass. It's an opportunity for us, not a hindrance.
Because you have taken the advantage, because you sit there and you practice for all the negative circumstances that come with competing somewhere like Pendleton. Yep. And therefore you have the advantage and you're just ready to roll like another rodeo.
It's luck. It's been said a million times, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And so we prepare for all different scenarios, and if you're prepared, luck's gonna fall your way.
Yes, that's awesome. That's one of my favorite quotes. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. So I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys still do the ropes? Are you guys still, what is your favorite? What's your size of ropes? I know that everybody has their new ropes and stuff like that.
Brad has created an all grass rope, correct?
It's a polygrass blend. There's 3 or 4 companies out there that make them. They all make good quality products. We make a rope called the Good Rope. It's a polygrass blend that half the calf ropers at the NFR will be using tonight.
Wow, that's awesome. What is your favorite size? Tell us.
So there's 2 sizes available. There's a 57 thread and a 60 thread. I used to use 60s until I've had 3 shoulder surgeries. So now I use the smaller 57s. The majority of the competitors use 57s, but there are a few that still use the 60s.
So speaking of preparation, I'm assuming that Gator's only ever roped with your good ropes.
Well, no, not really. Growing up as a kid, I would recommend that all kids start out with a size and weight appropriate rope for how big they are, how strong they are, how far along they are in their competitive endeavors. So Gator, both my kids started out with a 9.5 poly. It's smaller, lighter, easier for a smaller kid to use, and then you graduate up. Gator's using, for the last 6 or 7 years, he's used a 57 thread polygrass, but he started out on a poly rope, and I would recommend all kids start out on just a good quality, light poly lariat rope that is more geared towards their size and strength.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what do you feel like, Gator, with having your dad? I know you don't know what it's like to not have your dad, but growing up with a father that is a 6-time NFR qualifier and calf roping being your main event, what do you feel like was the best coaching that you've received from him growing up to this point?
And it's just, you just go out there and you just go make your run. I mean, you get here and no matter how much he tells me, I try and do extra and then I usually mess up. But it's usually wherever you go, no matter how big or how small, you just go make your run that you've been practicing. And if you practice hard and work at it hard enough, it's gonna be enough. So don't do anything extra no matter what anyone else does. It's your game.
What's that mean, extra?
Means don't take a stupid throw, if you don't have to reach.
Like an extra swing?
Yeah, or don't try and rush or tie and mess up, or try and cheat the start and break the barrier.
Do your job.
Just go do your run, and it'll be enough if you're working hard enough at it.
I love that. Thank
That's
you
awesome.
for that family secret. I'm gonna put it in my pocket.
Yes. That's
Take it
awesome.
off stage with me.
So are you guys competing at any other events out here? Can you tell everybody where where they can come watch you guys?
Yeah, so I just wrapped up at the, I guess that was the Vegas Toughest, which would be the one over at the World Trade Expo Center. And then I'll come and rope at the Convention Center Sunday on the bottom floor for the Yeti World Finals that the web productions are putting on.
Nice.
It's
Good
been-
job. Yeah,
Yes.
that is exciting. So one of the things that I thought was really cool when I got to stay at your guys' house when I was rodeoing hard is that you had basically every elite rodeo competitor there staying. And I really do feel like that it is important to surround yourself with people that have that winning mindset and not just like you're better than everybody else, but also just to feed off of that type of energy. Is that something that you did on purpose, inviting people to your house for that?
Well, I don't know if it was on purpose. Partly because I was an NFR qualifier, the guys that win and the guys that travel and compete for a living and make the finals are my peers and my friends. And no question, I have friends that have never roped and never been to the NFR. But if you surround yourself with winners, then you tend to be a winner. And so in the wintertime, I would go stay at those guys' houses. So in the summertime, they need a place to stay, so they would stay at our place. And I always felt like it was a little bit of an advantage that my kids had that other kids didn't have, because those were my friends and my peers. They came and stayed at our house. And so Gator actually grew up tying goats with Corey Solomon. And
me. I don't know if y'all remember, but we did tie goats one time together.
And
Not that
Sydney
I'm
Blanchard.
Corey Solomon, but
Yes.
I tied a nanny.
Yes, Sydney Blanchard came and tied goats with Gator too.
Remember
But we had those guys staying at our place, and so I did. If you've been around winners have a different mindset. And I'll just say this: a guy like Trevor Brazil, or a guy like Tuff Cooper, or Corey Solomon, or Sydney Blanchard is giving of their time and knowledge if you're just willing to ask and show enthusiasm and effort on your own. So for Gator to be interested and want to go tie goats, Corey Solomon was all in to go tie goats with him. Where typically, and I'm not speaking for everyone, but the people that don't win as much want to bring you down instead of build you up. But every winner I've ever known wants to build you up.
Winners want to feed off of each other when people that aren't at the level that they see themselves wanting to be are more feeling like your competition. Yeah.
Yes.
How did? What was your experience with being around? I mean, like Tuff Cooper was at your house. We all had family. It was like we had Thanksgiving dinner there with all the NFR calf ropers at one point.
Yeah, for sure. So I just make sure when summer rolls around and they'd get to come to the Northwest and they'd stay at our place, I'd make sure I'd line up whenever I was planning roping with them, and I'd try and rope together with them as much as I could, because it was just fun just to be able to pick their brains. And just, I mean, there's also some pressure out there too, because being 10 years old, I wanted to try and impress them, run these little 120-pound calves and show them how good I am, and there was pressure with it, and it was perfect because they got to teach me some things, and each of them had different ideas.
What are some of the key points that they did teach you that is just right instilled in your mind till the end of time?
Oh, like, well, they all had different, like Monty Lewis, like, it wouldn't matter if it was the first calf or the 30th. He was always, hurry, go fast, drop it in, hurry up. He was just really, and then there'd be some guys, okay, now slow down, like, just slow, smooth as fast. That was Corey Solomon's deal when we tied goats too. Go smooth, which is.
So which one instilled with you? The Monty Lewis go, like just roll through bobbles, or the Corey Solomon smooth as fast?
Well, I try and go slow, smooth as fast, but usually it's more, I end up trying to rush myself. But no, it was always fun to kind of, iron sharpens iron. So it was always fun to go rope with those other guys, those top dogs, and look up to them and pick their brains. Yeah.
That's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
At 10
thank you
years
guys
old,
so
another
much.
10-year-old dream right there.
Yeah, 10-year-old dream.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
bucket list.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, right? Like if I was a little calf roper, I'd just like randomly get lost at the Goodrich
Yes,
house,
yeah.
just like, oh no, I don't have a family.
Yes, I want to be a good calf roper. I'm going
Exactly.
there.
So real quick, you guys, before we wrap up the Ride Fearless show, tell us, Brad, you have raised some amazing kids. You have a wonderful wife who is just beautiful, and I know that she's the foundation underneath you guys because I've watched her be that. And you have raised Gator, who clearly has the mindset for sure to be a top elite professional athlete, as well as Josie, who is getting into the line of work that I'm in, which is doing some broadcasting and interviews. And you know, they have raised these wonderful children together to just be the best that they could possibly be. What is your secret with that?
Well, I obviously picked the right wife.
Always pick the right game.
I had a great wife who's a wonderful wife and the best mom. She keeps everything lined out, keeps all of us headed down the right path. And no question, it's a team sport trying to raise kids. You know, my job was to go out and keep calves and horses in front of them and line out practices and make sure they get where they need to go. And Jody's job was to go make sure that they got an education and they were respectful young adults and they treated people right, and she did a great job with that. Sometimes I don't believe it, but I have lots of people tell me that Gator's a really respectful young man. So Jody obviously did something right in that regard. But both of our kids are really, really smart, and we've been fortunate enough that together we've channeled them in the directions that they want to go, but doing it in a good path. Josie right now is a senior at Washington State. She's a 4-point student. She's going to graduate with a communications journalism degree, and she wants to rodeo and try and make the national finals breakaway. That's awesome. Gator's going to school at Weatherford College on a full ride rodeo scholarship.
Good job.
And he's roping calves and wants to rope calves for a living. And we've told them all along, and parents, anybody that's watching this, the one thing that I'm most proud of raising my kids that I did is I told them from day one, does not matter what you want to do or be, I will support you. And both of my kids at different times have taken a year off from rodeo. They both have.
And you were supportive?
And I was 100% supportive of whatever decisions they wanted to make. Josie took a year off, school was really important, and she came back, and now she's a threat. Every rodeo she goes to in the breakaway, it did not affect her as a breakaway roper. Gator took a year off, and he played basketball. He is an all-state basketball player. Okay, this guy is more of an athlete than I've ever dreamed of being. And I've been to every single basketball game that he's ever had. And he now wants to rope, taking a year off to go do something else will not affect their future. It makes them a better adult. And I'm proud of both my kids.
Wow, thank you so much, you guys. Please give a big round of applause for Brad Goodrich and Gator Goodrich, as well as all of our guests that we had today on the Ride Fearless show. Today was how it takes a team to be a professional athlete and what that entails. And I feel like I stood up here and learned so much. I had like 3 books I want to order. And then like maybe do another dinner at the Goodrich house. Just to prep for my mental game. But thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for coming out here with us to Ride Fearless.
Hey, I think we have time for one more giveaway. Yeah, we got the certified hustler up here, Bo Brown. What you got there? You got some swag?
Got some swag for you. The loudest person is going to get the swag. The after party is going to be at the certified hustler booth number 2000.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just on the other side of the hallway and down a little ways, isn't it? That's right. So come on, let us hear you. Who wants a prize out there? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the next Ride Fearless show will be this coming Monday, December 11th at 1 p.m. with co-host Lance Graves and guest star Andrea Busby, Birch Rodeo, and Brittany Diaz, as the title will be Raising Equine Champions Day. Be sure to get on over here and get your Ride Fearless autographs. And with that, God bless and have a great Saturday night.